So I'm Jacob Eichengreen, and I hold the official world record for the fastest time to empty a 10-ounce can of shaving cream on my face. Verified by Record Setter, there's a video of me breaking the 1 minute and 55-second mark online. That's not what I'm here to talk to you about. I'm here to talk to you guys about this. As Tom mentioned, I'm the new executive director of the Quad Innovation Partnership between UCCS, CC, PPCC, and the Air Force Academy. We're working to retain some of our homegrown talent here in the Springs. Now, when I tell people that our metric for the Quad is alumni retention and our tool is innovation, the conversation jumps to entrepreneurship. And that's actually a great lens to understand the nuances of attracting millennials to our region, even though it's just a subset of what we do. So that's what I'm going to be talking to you guys about tonight. Now, this blue graph is the Google search trend for startup ecosystem, the increasingly popular catch-all phrase for everything except for actual companies that a community needs to make its startups grow. So this is accelerators, incubators, everything but actual companies. This next graph, red, is the Google search trend for starting a company. These two graphs are entirely insufficient to convince you that there is now more interest in helping new companies grow and far less interest in actually starting a company than in any time in recent memory, except for the fact that right now in the US, we are at a record low for starting companies. And entrepreneurship, as measured by the rate of new business incorporation, is actually lowest among millennials, and it's decreasing. So let me speak as a millennial for a moment here. My generation is full of risk takers. We don't shrink away from the non-traditional. Research has shown that only about 13% of us aspire to a career climbing a corporate ladder, and instead we value independence, we seek visible, lasting impact, and we strive to build lives that are truly reflective of our values. So why aren't we building companies? Well, it would be naive to suggest that student debt doesn't play a role. Surveys have shown that most of my generation want to start our own businesses. However, we know that at graduation, the average student is $30,000 in debt, and who can take on a new business when you're that far in the hole? And some of it might also be that it's increasingly difficult for non-technical founders to try and start a company. It's one thing to build a company around new cutting-edge technology that you've created. It's another if your passion is books in the age of Amazon, hardware in the age of Home Depot, or fashion in the time of Rent the Runway. And some of it, I think, is the nuanced balance between our independence and the preconceived notions of success that begin developing when some of us permit into special middle schools to improve our college chances. By high school, we filled our schedules with AP Calc, AP Chem, AP anything that will help me look like a qualified candidate, and it doesn't stop there. We have to take on more than just stellar academics. Learn an instrument? Check. Volunteer in our communities? Check. We do everything we can to make ourselves appear the perfect, unique, well-rounded college applicant. And we have a ton to compare ourselves to in that process, like this book, How to Win at College. Trying to find and be those perfect answers extends far past just the admissions process for us. Throughout school, we're continuing to do everything we can to learn what success looks like, and work hard to look like success. And then we graduate, and all of a sudden, we've done it. We've achieved what we've been working towards for so long. Now what? Well, many of us fall into our old habits. We know what success looks like, and so we work hard to look like success. For example, in 2014, 55% of the Harvard graduating class chose to pursue arguably the most traditional, successful postgraduate paths of medical school, law school, management consulting, finance, and other graduate school. And then many of us choose to look like success in line with our values of independence, risk-taking, and impact that I mentioned earlier. In 2015, the Peace Corps received a record 23,000 applications, which is 32% higher than the year before and double the previous year. So in 2 years, double the growth, and that's almost exclusively from recent millennial graduates. So if we're not afraid to ignore our pressing debt and follow our values into the jungles of Central Africa, living in single-room huts with no running water for a stipend of less than $200 a month, why aren't we building companies? Well, it's been my experience that we don't because we don't see our peers doing it. We don't have any positive examples of that kind of success to aspire to. Yeah, sure, we all know Zuckerberg built Facebook from his dorm at Harvard at 19, but since so few of us are computer geniuses, and so few of us go to Harvard for that matter, it makes the path of entrepreneurs seem even more out of reach. Instead, we follow the paths that have been legitimized by our peers and by decades of social feedback. Medical school, nursing, the Peace Corps, these have been great choices for years. Entrepreneurship? Well, there was a time not too long ago when entrepreneurs were known to swindle you out of the shirt on your back. So where does that leave the Quad? Well, we're not going to be publishing a How to Succeed at Startups guide anytime soon. Instead, we're going to be celebrating, elevating, and legitimizing the non-traditional, innovative paths so many of our alum have already taken in our town. We're going to be exposing our final year students and early alum to a far broader definition of success, and then we're going to support them in pursuing whatever their own definition of success becomes. Because the truth is, we already have everything you need to succeed here in Colorado Springs. Sometimes it just takes a role model to realize it. Thanks.